Oh, all right, we're live. All right, so markets and sandcastles and why we love to tear both down. So I am here with Fred Cary, who is CEO of IdeaPros in person, in the flesh. In fact, I'm gonna sit back so I can actually be in the same plane as Fred here, and we're gonna talk about why you love to crush both of those. But if you're watching us live, please hashtag live and let us know where you're watching us from. Hello, Scott,
hey,
Bongo, Yadira, good to have you guys here. I am so excited to be on site with IdeaPros, but more importantly, there's a lot of sand out here, I've learned.
There's a lot to knock down.
A lot to knock down, as well as markets that you can knock down. So why do you love to knock them down?
Well, let's start with sandcastles. That's the easy one. Hey everybody. Obviously, I'm being a little tongue-in-cheek when I say this, but the reality is that's the way you really need to take the marketplace, right? When we're kids and we go, and either one or two things is going to happen. Either the waves are going to come in and take out the sandcastle, you're going to knock it down yourself. Why are you doing that? Because you don't like that sandcastle. You want to build a better one. You maybe want to take the opportunity of the waves coming in, understanding that there are tides that affect. Bye, honey. My daughter's going to the racetrack on opening day of the horse races while we're slaving away here. The reality is the current, the tides, the waves, the passerbys, they're all things that influences your sandcastle. They're all things that can tear it down, and it causes you to create new things, bigger, better, taking the knowledge that you have and making things a different way. So the same thing applies to business. When you're looking at a business, when you're looking at existing businesses, you need to have that tear them down mentality, because the reality is you're trying to replace what's there, and you can't replace what's there by taking a little nibble out of the corner. You can't replace what's there by coming to me and saying it's $100 billion market, and if we can get 1%, we're gonna be $1 billion company.
I think that's Fred's pet peeve, in one of the biggest ones.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge for me. Nobody becomes a 1% player. And so the reality is that when you look at anything that you want to do, you need to look at the marketplace, look at what's out there, the competitive environment, and figure out how you're going to do things way better. Even if you have a limited budget, which most of us do, you can't go into a marketplace and become incrementally better than what's there. If you're going to change things by 10%, you're not going to compete against billion-dollar companies with unlimited budgets. You need to go in there and how can this be done way better? Not 10%, 100%, 50%, 1,000%. How can this be way better so that I can disrupt that marketplace even when I have limited resources?
And he talked about this on his Instagram channel, and I thought this was a great topic, the disruption and how you actually accomplish that. So,
well, and by the way, my cough is getting worse and worse. I was just to the doctor's this morning. It's an allergy. We're going to get it taken care of.
He has pets and he's allergic to them, but he loves them. I'm sure you guys can relate.
Yeah, so I'm trying to decide whether to go to a doctor or a vet. If I go to the vet, I'll bring the animals and they won't come back. But no, I'm probably going to go to the doctor because I've been suffering long enough. So put up with me. I'm sorry, I know that.
Then we'll Benadryl dose him later.
Yeah. So how do you go about doing that, right? You need to understand the marketplace. You really need to, when you're going to go tackle anything, you need to be able to go in there and spend that time on the research. I talk about all the time that a lot of my own partners find boring until they understand the fact you don't go into a football game without knowing everything there is to know about the other team and how you're going to beat their butt. You don't go into anything without having that knowledge base. And it's particularly important when you're going to go into business because you're going to have fewer players. You're going to have equipment that's not as strong as the other team. You're going to have inexperience compared to the billion-dollar player out there. And so you have to make up for that with your trick plays. right? You're going to go through this in a way that hasn't been done before. You're going to pull plays out that they're not used to seeing. You're going to win the game by surprise, and you can't win the game by surprise if you're not prepared to go and disrupt that marketplace.
So he mentioned sand castles, and I love what you were talking about as far as the current coming in and wiping things out. So how would that relate to a business that we're starting?
Businesses are sandcastles, right? There's a ebb and tide. There is a life cycle to everything that we do. So you create a business, IBM's amazing typewriters, right? The tide came in on that thing. And if you, instead of IBM, you were Royal Typewriters or Remington Typewriters, which were amazing, and the tide just washed them away, right? IBM was able to change their mindset, change their process, change their business. So in fact, it was International Business Machines, right? IBM instead of International Business Typewriters. So they were able to change with the tide, with the flow.
They reinforced their sand walls. No,
right. No, that's a good point. Where others didn't, and they disappeared. However, when that tide came in, it also gave the opportunity for companies like Microsoft to come out. That's where Microsoft came out of that tide, right? And by the way, I think IBM had an opportunity to buy them for like $100 million and turn them down way early in the process. It may have actually been less than that. So when that tide comes in, two things are going to happen. The big behemoths are going to try to prepare for that tide, like you pointed out, and young startups are going to be able to see that it's coming, understand that things are going to get wiped out because of the timelines associated with life. Everything gets better, everything gets more complicated, the technology improves, right? As a startup, you can see that coming and you can prepare for it in advance. They're building their castles here. You're going to start your little castle out here away from where the tide is going to come.
Smart. So I think there is a reason for us to want to be not discouraged by having to
compete.
Yeah.
And by the way, at the end of this, you're either going to be able to be a great business creator or you're going to make a hell of a sandcastle at the very least. So,
speaking of sandcastles, I'm here in San Diego right now, so I'm going to try to get down to the beach since I haven't been in a long time.
You got above the beach yesterday.
I did. I have a beautiful view, but what Fred's talking about is I went paragliding over San Diego. It was amazing. What I can say though is that from a just do it kind of standpoint, the view's amazing when you take the risks that you are iffy about. So sometimes you don't get to see that view until you actually jump into it.
Yeah.
So do it.
Yeah, that was amazing that you did it. I do it all the time. So in any event, let's get from this conceptual part of it to the practical part of it.
I like this part, by the way, guys.
Yeah, and so the nitty-gritty of how do you accomplish that? First of all, you really have to understand what the problem is, right? If you're going to solve a problem, you can't solve a problem if you don't know what the problem is, right? So the very first thing that you need to do when you have a new product, a new app, a new service, whatever it is that you're offering, the very first thing you have to do is really understand the problem. Because many of us don't focus on that. They focus on the fact that, well, hey, I wanted to do XYZ and it just wasn't available for me. And so now I've created the XYZ solution. But is there really a problem? Are you unique? Are you the only one that has this problem? Or are you in a very, very small subsection of consumers or whoever that audience is that has this problem? Or is this a legitimate problem with a substantial number of potential targets so that you can really create a great business from it? So number one is understand the problem. Don't just come up with a solution to something that nobody needs a solution for. Okay?
Right. And I think with the problem is, what are the pain points? So what is it that people are actually feeling with that problem? It's not just that there is a problem, but understanding the psychological approach that you have to take, because you're not solving just the problem, you're taking away the pain.
Yeah, and I've used this analogy several times before, and forgive me if you're tired of hearing it, but I use the first automobile as an example because the average person is going to think, wow, that first automobile didn't have any competitors because it was the first automobile, the first of its kind. You think that way because you're not looking at what the problem is, right? The problem is not that I need a car. The problem is I need to go from A to B. The problem is transportation, right? So now when you look at transportation, are there competitors? Yeah, horse and buggy, right? Or walking or jogging. To anything that's going to get you from point A to point B helps you with the transportation. That's what the problem is. So you're solving a problem and there are existing competitors in that field. So when you're building that first car, what are the competitors? What does a horse do? How much does it cost to feed him? Can everybody afford a horse? How can I make this better? Right? There's a whole subset of analysis that needs to take place, part of which is, this is going to run on gas. There's no gas stations because there's no cars, right? There are enormous problems when you're coming up with something that exists for the first time.
Yes.
So when you look at that opportunity, first you really got to get to the core value proposition of the pain point, as you pointed out, of your target audience. Really understand that pain and really understand how you're going to make that pain a lot better. Number one, right? Number two, if there is a real pain point, somebody's addressing it. They may be doing it in a really piss poor way. They may be doing it in a very inadequate way, but that pain point is being addressed somehow. So if you're going to go disrupt the market, you need to understand how that pain is being handled right now. Who are the competitors? Who are those buggy manufacturers? Who are those horse sellers that are selling things? What are they doing well? What are they doing poorly? Because if you don't understand that, you're going to come up with a solution that's marginally better, and marginally better is not good enough, especially when you have very limited financial resources to accomplish what you want to do.
And it's really easy to find competitors right now, and to find the problem and what people are actually asking for. I know we've used these solutions before, but you can use Google, good old-fashioned Google.
What's that?
Right? That was one of the things that came out, and just after horses.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. So you can use Google. We have Answer the Public is a great way to see what people are asking for, what kinds of questions they're asking on the internet. And I am clearly far away from my computer, guys, so I will put these in the chat after. And then you can actually look up on competitive information on SEMrush. So there's lots of first of all, there's laws for transparency in ads. So you can go to Facebook and see any page's past history for ads. You can do a lot of footwork before you even decide if you have a good solution.
Yeah, so prepare to disrupt your marketplace, okay? And so you're understanding the consumer pain point, you're understanding how they're addressing that pain point, and now you have to understand how you're going to make that pain point really a lot better by what you're going to go in and do. And again, it's not about how much money you have. It's about how good the solution is. If your solution is good enough, one of three things is going to happen within 2 or 3 years. You're going to get acquired, you're going to become monstrous, or you're going to fail. Those are the three things, right? Because anytime you're disrupting a marketplace, a whole lot of stuff is going to come at you, one of which is competitors with inferior products trying to continue to keep their customers by offering better and better financial deals. And so, hey, I have my horse and my horse sucks. I want to get a car. That horse is costing me $5 a month and my car is going to cost me $500. I'm not going to change, right? So you have all these things that are going to come at you and you're going to have to prepare for them. The least of your worries is that the competitor is going to catch up to what you're doing because they're not very nimble. If you're going into a big marketplace, they're set in their ways. They They're like an aircraft carrier. They're going in a certain direction.
It's hard to turn.
It's really hard to turn, much less it's hard to turn from an aircraft carrier to a battleship or to an airplane, right? So they are what they are, and they're likely to stay that way. The good news in that is when you get big enough, they're going to want to acquire you so they can add to their fleet. So all those things are going to take you down a path that is full of pivot potentials. Don't ever get stuck on doing it one way, because don't forget, you're trying to do something in a way that hasn't been done before. And when you go through it, even though you think you have it all figured out, there are going to be roadblocks, there are going to be landmines, there are going to be walls that you have to go around. So you have to remember to be really nimble in what it is you're doing as well.
Absolutely. Those are great tips. Do you have anything else that you want to add to that?
Yeah.
I'm sure we could go into depth.
We could talk about this for a day or two. But the reality is, anything that whatever, if you're making a belt, or you're making new neurosurgery equipment, or you're trying to beat Elon Musk to Mars, whatever you're doing, look at every marketplace you're going into with a mindset that you're going to change that marketplace in a significant way. We have a partner that we're making a pancake batter for, and where we are with that is going to completely turn that marketplace upside down with some simple techniques that we're going to utilize. So it doesn't have to be rocket science. Anything that you go into, how's it being done now? What are the inefficiencies of that marketplace? How can I go in there and kick ass in a way that nobody's expecting? And there always is an opportunity to do that. There always is, no matter where you're going, what you're doing, or how you're going to set about doing. Go in there to win the fight, not to be somebody that's going to win a round or win one punch. Go in there to win the fight.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Fred. I don't know if you want to leave us with anything else. That to me is a final thought. I don't know about you guys, but do you have anything else that you want to add to that before I start saying hi? Don't go anywhere, guys, because I see you over in the chat.
Well, I think that, to your point, I think that was the final word, but let me say it in a different way. If you're not prepared to go into a battle to win it, you should not enter that battle anyway, right? There are no honorary prizes in entrepreneurship. You don't get a best efforts medal. You're either going to win or you're going to lose. That's it. So be prepared to win. Winning is hard, and that means you have to think differently, and you have to be resilient, and you have to keep trying until you kick ass.
Love it. And I'm here in person hearing this, so I'm excited. Thank you, guys. Actually, I see a couple new people over there. So Imperial, Leonard, Eric, Steve. Hey, Steve Brown. Hey. Jay Benoit over there with Renegade.
Hey, Steve, if you're around, come on over. We're having a company picnic this afternoon, a barbecue, because we brought all the employees in from around the country. And any other partner that happens to be in San Diego, swing by.
Come on down, make a sandcastle with me. No,
I'll knock it down.
He'll knock it down. Frustration, desperation, dedication equals innovation. I think that's pretty darn accurate.
All the Asians.
All of them. All of them. Hey, Jason, I know you're looking. Yes, so answer the public and Google searching.
Jason, where's my t-shirt?
Jason, Jay Benoit has Renegade, and he has already made awesome merchandise, and he doesn't even have his app done yet. We had him on the show a couple weeks ago, and I love Shawn Reed. Yes, we're finding unique ways to solve problems for sure. Vanessa said the same thing. Hey, Vanessa. Ronald, Odin, Kelly, Sean, Mark Morris. Hey, no, it's okay. You made it. You made it. Alfred. All right.
You managed to record it this time, right?
I did. Yeah, I might have not recorded our partner meeting, just so you guys know. This is recording though, we're live. Hey, Aziza. Aziza is one of our Raw Beauty is one of the products that's selling right now. Do you want to talk about Raw Beauty?
Well, Aziza and I are meeting here in another half hour or so. We got a super spokesperson partner that we're talking about adding to the mix. So I'll be on the phone with you here shortly.
rawbeautyco.com, amazing spa quality
Better than spa quality.
It's better than spa quality, but you feel like you're at the spa at home. That's like, it's amazing.
Let me try that. This is a market disruptor, right?
Yes.
If you go into Whole Foods or places like that, you're going to find like these products that supposedly are all natural ingredients and everything, and they're like labeled terribly, and they're just kind of off brands. This is high level, all natural. Everything, it's nothing's heated in it. It's just like the creme de la creme of beauty regimen that is also incredibly good for you and all natural. Even the containers are glass and real bamboo tops. It's like combining nature with your plastic surgeon. So it's awesome.
It's amazing. You guys have to check it out. Go to rawbeautyco.com and you'll find out more. And then we also have Shawn Reed, who has Sage Scheduler. I think he had his, I'm going to look and see if I can find it in there. It's an app that also is going to revolutionize what we're doing now. I mean, not unusual for Fred to do things that are going to disrupt, which was your Instagram post. So sagescheduler.com, go check it out and sign up to get notifications as that app launches, so you can get in on being a beta tester for that.
Yeah, we've got another product launching, Amavi, which is, it's in the leather goods industry. However, it's made out of cactus, and it's the softest feeling leather you'll ever find. Uses hardly, well, you know what a cactus is, right? Even my ex-wife couldn't kill one. And so it hardly uses any water whatsoever, whereas leather goods, not to mention all the other negative aspects of leather, the whole tanning process uses tons and tons of water. And so we're coming up with this product set that's going to revolutionize an industry.
Kind of seems like that's our thing.
Yeah.
That's
the revolutionist
thing. Awesome. Okay, guys, I am not going to keep you any longer. We're going to take off and do some team building right now.
Great.
Stuff like that.
Can I play?
Yes, you may.
All right.
Play with us.
Take care, guys.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys next time, Friday at noon Pacific time. Don't forget to hit the bell so you get notifications. All right. See ya.
Bye-bye.